Join Bev Lazar, spiritual mentor, Reiki master, psychic medium, with Shelly Greenlaw, doula, yogi, and intuitive energy healer. Two sisters walking the path of spirit to share their experience and advice in all things energy, intuition, and beyond. The Empath Sisters.
Hi, and welcome back to another episode and new season of the Empath Sisters. Here we are in 2024. Can't believe it, but here we are. And we kind of like trailed off at the end of 2023. So we're going to kind of catch up with that.
Yes. Hi, everyone.
I guess I should say it's Bev. Here I am.
And here's Shelly. Yes. When it comes to trailing off, yes, we definitely did trail off. And we thought, we actually couldn't believe how far off we were. We are very excited to be back.
Oh my gosh, so excited.
Yes.
It feels so, but I have to say, since we haven't podcasted since, I want to say October of 2023, it feels like 2 weeks happened from then until now. Like it doesn't feel like there's been that much time that has gone by. But we've definitely been reminded a lot by our awesome listeners and our clients. And it's sad. And a lot of people were, wondering if, we ended the Empath Sisters.
Yeah, like that we broke up.
We broke up. Even on my birthday, which I just celebrated, not too long ago, I got a lot of messages, happy birthday. And I haven't heard you guys in a while. Are you guys okay? Did you break up? We're missing you. So we're like, oh my gosh, we're actually, we're going to jump in right away. And we're in a whole bunch of planning. Shelly and I have done a lot of exciting planning for this year.
Yes.
And something really exciting to announce, but that's coming soon. We won't reveal it yet because it's a timing thing.
Yes.
So we aren't broken up.
Nope.
We're still together. Life got a hold of us, and also some like miscommunication, which is actually really funny. Shelly and I are actually, believe it or not, really good communicators. But we somehow miscommunicated in those months of getting together to podcast. And I was like, shoot me some dates and back and forth. And then just kind of like, oh, I didn't hear from her. And then I assumed she was busy. She'll get back to me. And Shelly assumed the same. And then nothing happened. so lesson learned.
But in saying that though, thinking about that, and then after we talked about that, I was thinking, obviously we needed the break for some reason, right? Like obviously we do believe in everything happens for a reason and things, in timing and all that. So I really believe that, yes, we had those kind of like, miscommunications and what have you. And life did get in not in the way. It was more like, it was just
mine got a hold of me.
Yeah, it was just full. And so I really wanted to say was that, even though we did end, podcast since October, which blows my mind. I do agree with Bev. It does feel like it was only, a couple weeks ago. Yeah. However, we are in 2024, which blows my mind. And I'm so excited again, like what Bev said. Yes, we've been doing a lot of planning, and it's like, I can hardly contain myself. I feel like we say this all the time. I'm sorry to all the listeners. We do say this a lot, but for real, this time we do have stuff in motion. It's actually going to happen. So, which is very exciting. Yeah.
And we haven't done it yet. So we'll put that out there.
Right.
Something new, something we haven't done. and something we're extremely excited about. And we've pretty much already almost finalized all our planning. I would have to say that's how excited we are about it.
Which I'm actually impressed for us, to be honest.
I am. But mind you, we had, 4 days of -50 weather. So we had some time indoors to like really crush some stuff.
Yes.
So I feel like that was to our advantage, but we are very excited. So this will be announced from both of us. There'll be a little sneak peek, maybe February, and then March for sure is going to be the launch. So just keep your eyes and ears peeled for that, and your inboxes.
Yes.
So yes, here we are, brand new year, and we just stepped out of Capricorn season, stepping into Aquarius now. So here we are for, all of humanity and the collective and everything. So we'll see kind of where that goes. And Pluto.
I was just going to say Pluto left.
Pluto just was going in now. So it's going to be there until 2044. So it's going to be there for quite a while. And this is the beginning of the new age. And our 2023 and 2024 now is literally the end of it, of what we've been in for the longest time. So this is where basically our new age, new earth, however you look at all that, is literally going to start 2025. So this is the final end of, not the end of the world, end of
just
what we used to have.
Yes.
So super exciting. So we want to catch up to October. We'll backtrack a little bit and kind of catch you all up on the things that we were doing. And I have to apologize. My voice is not quite myself, just kind of coming out of something. And so it might not quite sound like me. So probably this episode, you'll be able to tell us apart very well.
Yeah, probably. Yes. So, and like Bev said, we want to, we thought we would, like we always do, we do like to catch up on things with you all, because we do get those questions of like what you've been doing and how are you been doing and all the things. And when we did look back, last episode was in October. So when that happened, we told you all that we were going on another retreat and to Sedona and to all these things. So we're going to give you a little bit of an update on that. So the first was our retreat. We went back to Cochin, and it was
chilly.
Oh gosh, I know, it was so cold.
It was cold, and we weren't prepared for cold yet. So we thought, it shouldn't be too bad because we had such beautiful weather. But that weekend, the wind was
brutal.
Boy, it was brutal. So the outside activities were a little bit
limited.
So we did a lot more indoor this time as opposed to the one that we did earlier in summer. And it was just interesting. It was a different, it was good. It was a different group of women. I think only 4 of us maybe was the same, 5 of us.
Or the same. There was 5 of us.
And then some new ladies as well. So it was a really interesting weekend. Shelly and I ended up staying upstairs this time and not down in the basement of this cottage. And our room was kind of like I don't know, I felt like we were set back in like the 30s, 40s, 50s, somewhere like in that era. So that was kind of cool. Had some I remember having an interesting dream when we were out there that there was a dead body in the lake. I was like, I don't know if there really is, but I'm hoping there isn't.
I'm hoping there isn't.
But it was a good weekend. It was chilly. I also our niece had a baby that weekend, so that was nice. So super special weekend, and we were kind of prepping to go to Sedona.
Like just kind of touching on that, the retreat, like for me, it was I'm like actually recalling what happened for me that weekend, because not that I forgot. I just was like, oh yes, right.
That's why I'm like, we'll just skim past the retreat. Because yeah, it was
for me, yeah, like it was good,
hard.
but it was very hard for me.
Mhm.
I will say, like, yeah, I don't even know how to explain what I mean by hard. Hard for me was like I felt, well, for one, like I
I
said,
would
I'm
say
not gonna.
emotionally
It
hard.
was very emotional for me only,
Yeah.
and it wasn't just because like it was for me. Again, has nothing to do with like the first time we went there, because of the first time we went out there, it was like I was emotional because it was, first time going back because of our dad and all the
Yeah.
things. This
More
time I
vulnerable, I would
was,
say. The first time you were
yeah,
more vulnerable.
I was. And this time I was more emotional because of um I was kind of doing this like course type of thing. It was a book called The Artist's Way, and we had to do like morning pages and all these things, and it's about doing things for yourself. And but it wasn't really just that. It was to be honest, and I'm not trying to call out anybody or anything like that, but
Yeah.
there was just a couple ladies there that I was overwhelmed with. And, they had a lot of different things that they wanted to share. And every time they shared, for some reason, I could feel into their emotions and their
Mhm.
things. And it really affected me.
Yeah.
Like, it almost reminded me of the time that we had our Empath Sisters event and we had the group reading,
Mhm.
and we remember, and I started getting emotional, and it's really not just me, it's because of them or who is coming through me that
Right.
is giving me the emotion. And that's what was happening for me that weekend. And it was really tough because I was like, almost like to the point where I'm like, "Shh, get a hold of
Mhm.
yourself."
Snap out of it. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was, I would say, like there was I mean, the retreat is beautiful, and I
Yes,
wanted everyone to share, and
for sure.
I really had to refrain from wanting to
Going to that
work with
role.
them.
Yes,
Yeah, to like
exactly.
step into that role. And I was like,
Yes.
no. And so, and then because that's just natural for me to want to do
Right.
that.
Yes.
And not that I didn't want anyone to share. I wanted them to share because they also are healing. And that's the whole point of it. And to be supported and all of that
Hmm.
stuff. And I loved that. Um, but yeah, it was, I know a lot of the conversations or things that were brought up was triggering
For
um
us.
for Shelly
Well,
and
for
I,
me,
based,
yeah, for
yeah,
sure. Yeah.
for our childhood and our past. And
Yeah.
so it was just interesting to have attended a retreat where you're being triggered,
Yes.
and you have this maybe thought or idea, or this, it's just going to be like this, and you're going to like have a great time and relax, and
Mhm.
it's all of those things, which those parts of those things were there, yes, but I felt like the majority of it was just like really being in that, like, I felt like more in the survival mode
Right.
of just like, whoa, okay, how am I going to get through this? I got to bring my emotion down. Okay, calm my nervous
Yeah.
system down. Okay, I need to go take a break. I need to step
Hmm.
away. And I don't mean to make a funny, but I didn't realize when we were doing a craft,
Yeah.
I looked over at Shelly and she still hadn't started. And then she was getting like worked up. And I'm like,
Yeah.
and we're all like, here, Shelly, try this, or do you want to do that? And
Hmm.
and and she could like hardly talk.
Yeah.
And I just thought Shelly was being a full-on Libra. She just could not make a decision on what she wanted to create and craft. And I felt like she put a ton of pressure on herself. And I was just like, oh my gosh, my poor sister, like, it's so hard for her to do this creation workshop right now. But
Yeah.
also not realizing that on top of that, there was a
Yeah.
lot of releasing that was happening from others. And so it was also
Hmm.
just like really feeling that. So it was
Yeah.
just, yeah, it's
It
interesting.
was. It was.
Yeah.
And
Lots of
like I
reflection. brought a lot of reflection for sure.
Yeah. And like, I agree with you, a lot of those things that were shared were triggering for me, for sure. Absolutely. And I will agree that, there was a moment where I was struggling with this craft because I didn't know what to do. I was sort of like in that moment, but while that was all happening, everybody was, it was just a lot for me. And I'm not gonna lie, I lost it. Like I couldn't handle it. I had to leave so many times and come back and like everybody was so good though.
Oh,
like
yeah, it's
I will say
amazing.
that like everyone at that table and at that retreat really supported me because like I said, it was so difficult for me. And I really had a hard time. And they were so good and they were like very, like I said, understanding, holding space for me and like, even for you. And like, so it, like I said, it was a different type of feeling and vibe for me at that retreat. But it was still, again, another healing place, another, all the things. And it really was, at the end of the day, obviously something that I needed to do and go through because that's why I was there. Right.
Well,
so
totally. And it just brought, when I reflected on that, I was like,
yeah,
okay, I wouldn't say I was as triggered as you,
no,
but
I know. Yeah.
However, I know a lot of the things that were brought up, I have done a lot of work on personally myself. And it was just interesting how, as some of those things were coming up for me, it was that reflection of like, oh, interesting, like it's still there. It's not full force, but it was like, interesting, that's still there, that's still a thing. Okay, and then just really having to reflect on that of like, okay, and walk myself through that of like, this isn't my environment, this isn't like, I'm not back to where I was, and and just like going through that and like kind of healing the triggers that were coming up for myself too. And and the girls were awesome. Like, I mean, they're all just so beautiful. And I know they were like, Bev, no, like I know they even picked up on it, like, because I felt like I really wanted to like, let's just sit one-on-one with each of you and let me just work with you. But and I know the intention I had set for that weekend was just to really listen to like what I needed, and how I was feeling, and not, so I really had to put that in practice. It was a real test. So it was good. And then I think it was a full moon that or was it the new moon? It was the new moon.
Oh, I don't remember.
And then we did the like sage burning, and then it wouldn't
go
go out.
The sage didn't go out.
It just burned the whole bundle. And we kept pouring water over it and water over it.
And it was still burning, you guys.
It was burning, like high flames.
Yeah.
Like, wouldn't go out.
No.
We took videos because we were all like, wow. And so everybody was like saying, oh, it's probably because of me. And we're all like, no, it's probably me. And and then the lady that was hosting was just like, it's what needs to be done for everybody, kind of thing. And so that was a really neat experience as well.
It was.
Yeah.
I totally forgot about that part. Yeah. And how amazing that it was, with.
Yeah. Never seen that.
Yeah.
And it was like a bundle that was like so dry.
Yeah.
And no matter how much water we poured on it,
I was just
it was
gonna say,
literally
it was so
in a bowl of water.
Yeah.
And it just, the flames kept going. It was just crazy. We were like, whoa.
Yeah. But at the same time, it was like, it was almost like
understandable.
Yeah.
Totally.
Right.
Yeah. Like, no surprise, but
like,
but kind of cool.
Yeah.
Can't say I've ever experienced something like that when I've smudged, but
nope, I know I haven't.
Yeah.
But it was definitely strong. So so that was the retreat.
That was our retreat. Yeah. And then a couple days later we
headed off to Sedona.
Arizona. Oh my gosh. And it was so close to the like oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank.
I don't know.
Baseball. was so close to the playoffs. Is
Oh,
that what they're
yes,
called?
for
Yeah.
baseball. Yes.
When we were
Mhm.
leaving, and it was just
Yeah.
because we were in Arizona, and Texas were playing, and
Yes.
a lot of people are like, "What, you like baseball?" Shocked that I like baseball, and I'm like, "Yes, I like baseball."
I
But
love
yes,
baseball.
and
Yeah.
we were like, "You should just
Yeah.
stay one more week."
Yeah.
It was because we were flying out the next morning, and oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Yeah.
But yes,
That was
we
great.
went to Arizona. It was
Mhm.
beautiful. It was
Yeah.
amazing. It was hard. It was emotional. It was,
Yes.
I mean, I've been there before.
Right.
So it was Shelly and Dwayne's first time being
Mhm.
in Arizona. So
Yeah, we
yeah.
had a great time. When it comes to like I don't know how much we want to share, but like at the same time, like we had never been there, and
Yeah.
we were lucky enough to join Bev and her family and her father-in-law.
Mhm.
And we got to,
Gosh, we did a lot.
yeah, like we did a couple hikes. We went
Yeah.
and toured like this copper mine, and we went
Mhm.
to, a couple places that we probably would have never checked out. And we
Yeah.
went and did a sound bath healing with this cool guy
Yeah.
who
His name is
apparently,
Three Trees.
yeah, his name is Three Trees, and
He's
he apparently
incredible.
is this big, like I've heard of him before, but I've never like, you know, thought
Really
about
known.
it,
Yeah, yeah.
and then, yeah. And so we got to experience that. And I will say
It was
that
amazing.
was, I don't like, okay, I'll share this. It was so cool that after the whole thing was done, sorry, I have a pen in my hand. I don't know why, but so for those that are
Random.
watching, sorry. Um, the coolest thing that happened after was, well, it kind of happened before, right? Remember when we were in line? So we're in line. Bev and I are in line. We're all lined up to go into this room for this sound healing.
Mhm.
And there was this guy in front of us.
Mhm.
And I remember Bev and I kind of looking at each other like, whoa, like this is weird energy. Like this guy is giving us a weird vibe,
Mhm.
and we never really thought, anything more of it. We just kind of knew like, okay, like there's something up with
We
this.
both picked up on something.
Yes. And so then we go in, like I said, then we do the sound bath and all the things. And so at the end, it's all
Mhm.
done and we're all leaving. And we're heading out of the door, and weirdest thing happened, of course,
Mhm.
but I'm about to walk out and I see my nephew, which is Bev's son, Carson. He's standing at the door. But I didn't realize there was actually that guy that was in front of us in line standing
Mhm.
at the door. He was so like, I didn't even know that there was a person there. And I realized there was a person there. And I remember looking at Carson and going, like, do you see this guy?
Yeah.
Because he was so, I couldn't see his face. I
Yeah.
couldn't see, like, he was so transparent that I thought he
Mhm.
was a spirit, but he was actually human.
Mhm.
And I remember looking over at Carson, and Carson looks at me like, yeah, Auntie, I see him. It's okay. Like,
You're all good. I got you.
it was so bizarre.
Yeah.
And I had never experienced that before, like in a person. Like I've
Mhm.
seen spirits, I've seen, whatever. But I had never actually seen someone in human form be not like, I don't know how to explain it. It's going to probably think, you guys are going to think
It's
I'm
like
like,
you're seeing a human, but you're seeing a spirit just based off of how they looked so transparent, because souls
yeah,
look like that. They're just a person, but they're see-through.
yeah.
And there's like, you put
But
your
I couldn't
hand through
even,
them,
like,
but
I could
you
not even
can't
see
even.
his face, like
Yeah.
nothing. There was nothing there. Like it was weird. Anyway.
Yep.
And so, yeah, it was weird. And
Mhm.
I remember thinking, whoa, what happened? Right. Because I was like, because even in the sound bath, it wasn't like my typical sound bath that I've gone to. This one, I really wanted to like maybe move and dance. Like it wasn't really where you could lay, and I did. Trust me, I left my body and came back and all the things. But yeah, it was so different for me. But in saying that, after we left and we got back to the Airbnb, and that whole night I was so off. And I even had another experience where I was saying to Dwayne, we were in bed, like just about to go to bed, and I usually take medicines and vitamins, and I'm holding the bag saying to my husband, how come you didn't pack enough magnesium? And he goes, Shelly, it's on the other side. And I look and I missed, because I counted and I missed it. And I went, whoa, like what? How? They weren't there. I was like, they were not there a second ago when I was counting. He's like, they've been there the side. Anyway, so it was just really like mind blowing for me. And yeah, I know you're laughing, but it's just like it was.
I love it.
I was so not with it. Like I felt like I wasn't grounded.
Well, it's almost like you're seeing beyond the veil, right? You're seeing in like different, almost like you're seeing in different timelines or something, where you're seeing you're in one, but then you're viewing in another. And then when you just viewed what you viewed, but yet it's not there when you're viewing it over here, but yet you're still in the same place.
Right.
That's how I would consider the best way I could explain kind of what you're maybe going
experience through. Yeah. And it was like, I'm not going to say that it, like, to me, it was cool, like, because it was just like, whoa, right? Like, this is something different. And, and like the whole weekend was quite, not even the week, really was, I can't explain it. And I know Bev has explained this before, like that feeling, you just can't explain the feeling, what it is like to be down there. To be in Sedona, because it is a spiritual place and it's got all these vortexes and all the things, and I can't explain it either. I can't. You have to go there to experience it.
Yeah, it's one of those things. You do. If you haven't, I recommend it.
Yeah.
If it calls to you, but it is literally so beautiful. I have to say, I'll put it out there too. I've been there in 2019 and I've been there now, 2023. And when I went in 2019, it was not that busy. And I know through the pandemic, I knew somebody that was living in Sedona. And there's been a lot of movement within the States. And so there's just now a lot of people in Sedona, and there's a lot of tourists in Sedona. It was so busy. So that's the only downside now to Sedona, I would say, is that there's just too many people.
Yeah.
So it kind of has that feel of just like even when we were hiking, everywhere we were going, it was just an abundance of people.
Yep.
I felt like, not like, I've never been to New York, but that's what I would envision that feeling for me, is like from the experience I've had in 2019 to 2023. I feel like I went from Saskatoon to New York. That's just the difference of like how much it has changed with the amount of people. So that would be the only downside I felt for myself. It was just, I just felt like it, invasive. Like there was just a lot of energy, and you're in a very energetic place.
Exactly.
So it was just a lot, but it is beautiful. There's so many things to do and see. And we took Shelly up to Jerome, and it's just this copper mining town, and it's built up on a hill, and it's just amazing. You feel like you're in Europe, and it's really cool. That day was super hot. And no parking, and it's just a little sketchy, scary, but it was so great. And
the other part that I want to add was we also went to the Grand Canyon.
Yes.
And I want to say, like, for years, like I'm talking years, that I have wanted to go to see the Grand Canyon. Like anytime we even went to Vegas or anything, we just never got there. And well, I understand why, but anyway, but we finally got to go, and I'm not gonna lie, like you have to be in person to see it. It is like,
it's amazing.
it is beautiful. It is, to way to explain the Grand Canyon in my view and in my opinion, it did remind me a lot of, especially if you guys are all from, like, if you're listening from Alberta, it really reminded me of, we have places called like Drumheller, the Badlands, down by Lethbridge and all that stuff. It's like that, but on a bigger scale. Like,
yeah, I was going to say the word Grand Canyon. Grand.
That's why it's grand.
It's definitely grand.
And it made me tear up because it was so beautiful and so magnificent that it was just like, it was an awe, right? And so it made me feel like we were home. Like Alberta is home to me, and especially in that kind of an environment, we're so used to going down, though, like we took our kids on, to Drumheller, like we did all those things. And so to me, that was like home, and it was just beautiful. You have to go there in person. Pictures just do not do its justice. You have to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
It really was. And so, when it comes to just that whole week, not just, having all those experiences, but in a way it was also an honor, because really, that week was, the 1 year anniversary of, of your mother-in-law's passing. And so to be there as well, to, support you guys in whatever way we could, or not, or give you the space or whatever, but to be at least, be in that space with you, was also just another, I would just say an honor to be there. So
it was amazing. There was just lots of, and we had so many signs, and my mother-in-law was visiting the kids every night, and it was just amazing. And I've wanted to go to Sedona, and my mother-in-law and her husband had been going to Sedona for years, and it's a place I wanted to go to. I don't even know why. I just knew I had to go to Sedona. And so they had kind of given us some like pointers, and like, oh, she's like, you're gonna love it there. And she just knew it. And we went in 2019. Chris and I just went on our own, and it was literally the best trip Chris and I have ever had, was going to Sedona and experiencing it, and thinking like, oh my gosh, I would love to come back here and like come with Bev and Brian. And I knew that I wanted to take my kids there. My kids are really open, and they love hiking. They love doing things like that. And that would be like me wanting to take my kids to Disneyland. I was like, that's my goal. I want to take my kids to Sedona. That is what I want them to experience. And I wanted to experience that as a family. So it was just, and I also have been wanting to go to Sedona with Shelly. Like, we have to go there. And I would still love to do a retreat there. And so it was just awesome for us to be able to do all of this all at once. And then, and it was really hard though, being there, and now knowing that I don't get to experience Sedona with my mother-in-law, but I definitely, felt her in spirit for sure. And it was just, so like, it was just healing. It was hard. It was beautiful. It was amazing. I got to hear so many stories, and I could feel her. And so it was just like, and then like my family was there, and it was just, the weather was perfect.
It really was.
Oh my gosh. Like, and all the things that we got to experience was just, and the highlight for me, I would have to say, is just watching through my eyes everybody else have their experiences. That would be the highlight for me of the whole trip. So so for me, that was the honor for sure of that trip. So it was so awesome. And I like, when we were there, Shelly and I were like, we're going to do this and we're going to do that. And if we plan a retreat there, we have pretty good idea of all the things we would like to do.
We
can't
do.
Be a weekend. It's going to have to be like a week retreat. So but absolutely amazing. If you get the opportunity to go, I would say go. And I would say put it on your bucket list. This is year 8. So it's the abundant year. So just go.
Yeah.
That's what I would say. just go, just
Yeah.
experience it if you can. So
Yeah.
Sedona was
Especially
amazing. And
if you're called to, of course, like Bev always
oh,
says,
for sure.
but it is something to see for sure.
Absolutely.
Mm.
Absolutely. I brought a bunch of pictures home and
Yeah.
rocks. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, we brought rocks.
Of course, the first time I went there, that's all I brought home was rocks, like tons of rocks. And I was like, what did you bring? Rocks.
Yeah.
You brought rocks home? Oh yeah. And Shelly and I even there was a rock show on when we were there.
Yeah. We went to it.
We were going crazy. I was like, we didn't even hang out. We were like in, and then we're like, we spread out and we were just going crazy out. And then we like meet up and I'm like, oh my God, I got this and I got this and I got this.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my gosh. And it was amazing.
It was. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
We
just
had a
thought of
reading
something else.
done
I
and
was just going to say that we had a reading done and it was really cool because it was done by one of those Aura cameras and they give you like the picture of you with the color and it was pretty cool. But I will say in that, because we never really talked about it, but like afterwards, I think we didn't really. And I want to say to all of you with this, for me anyway, I know Bev feels the same way, I'm pretty sure, but I won't speak for her, but I feel like she would be the same. But for me, it was like the stuff that she said to me from the pictures and everything else and all that, I already knew.
Of course, that's what readings
it's
are.
just, I know, but it's the same time, like,
but it's validating, it's confirming. That's what readings are. And I say that all the time. People go for readings because they need validation, confirmation to what you already know or where you're going or what you're doing.
But I think because we were going for something different, like because of the picture, right? I was thinking in my mind, there might be something else that maybe I can hear.
Yeah.
That I don't already know. Do you know what I mean? Like, and so sometimes I feel like, okay, yeah. And it was great. Happens. And it does, but like I just, it definitely was a neat experience to have done. Would I do it again? I probably would.
I had an aura reading done when I went in 2019. And I use that picture a lot when I teach. And I remember even at that point when she was going to take the picture, she was like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to capture this. And I had all this white light around me and then there's like gold color coming down into my crown. And that's how typically my students will say, like, when I'm teaching, that's how I look. Yeah. And she was about to take my picture and it shifted, and that's what can happen. And so she goes, no. She's like, go back to where you were. And I was like, oh great. Now I'm like thinking, because I don't even know where I was because I was just in that place. And I was like, I don't want to say in La La Land, but I was in my channel state. And so I was, because we were talking about work and I was just totally like channeling, and that was what happening. And then she was like, oh, I'm gonna take your picture. It's so beautiful right now. And then I shifted my thought. Yeah. And then I was like, well, now I can't even get back there because I don't even know what I was doing, because I was it's so natural. I was in it. So anyway, and I said, you know what, just take the picture anyway. And the picture at that time was awesome. Like my heart chakra was like radiating green. And actually I have a picture of it if anyone is watching on YouTube, but.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what my last one looked like. So green and yellow and orange. But when I went to Sedona in 2019, it was a totally different time. I was in a different place. I was doing a lot of healing and because I use this in my teaching, it's just really cool because this one printed out a whole analysis of your picture. Right. And it's so funny because it's like, it describes you. It's like, oh, you're an empath and you have like, what does it say? I have serious goals. I live my life in organization, and I'm ambitious, and I'm full of compassion. I can be generous. I'm excellent teacher and counselor, naturopath, energy worker, business owner. And I'm like, oh, gee, I'm all of those things. And it was so cool because it just kind of went in there. And it's like, you have a really strong sixth sense, and you're creative, you're intellectual, you're able to work with people, you inspire people. Like, I was like, yeah, cool, you know. So at that time it was just cool, and it was confirming of like, oh yeah, I saw my heart chakra was wide open, which was
Yeah.
like, okay, got it. And yeah, it was so cool. And then this time for me, when I got my new picture done, I was a rainbow. And
Right.
she was like, well, rainbow, you kind of got it all. You can do
Yeah.
this and you do that. And you're planning yesterday, or you're looking at yesterday, you're planning today, and it's like 28 things for tomorrow. And she's like, I don't know how you do it. And I'm like, yeah, that's me. So
Yeah.
so it was cool. It was really cool to
Yeah.
I don't know, just hear it from somebody else.
Oh, for
I
sure.
don't typically get a lot of readings, so it's for me,
Yeah.
I'm just kind of like, well, that's fun.
Yeah.
Thanks anyway. I
Yeah.
know that, but that was fun.
Yeah. And that's how
So
it kind of felt. It was like,
yeah,
like I said before, like it just felt like, yeah, like I just, you already like it was just confirmation, really, like from what
yeah,
I've always been told and what I've always known. And
yeah.
so,
I felt like what she said to you
mhm.
was similar to like how where I felt I was when I went there years ago.
Mm,
You know, like I felt like I was in that place. Like as she was saying it, I was
yeah.
like, oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah. It's kind of what
Mm,
I felt like I was experiencing when I went there the first time.
okay.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
I feel like since then, really things have like really catapulted me. Things
Mm,
started moving so much faster in my healing, my work, like my business,
yeah.
just everything just, I felt like that.
Mhm.
Yeah. Something magical happened there. And it
Yeah.
is a magical place.
Yeah,
So yeah, it
exactly.
was
Yeah.
awesome trip. And then we
Yeah.
got back and
Yeah.
I don't know, man, life just,
And
I got
that's when I was
super
busy.
sick in
Yeah,
November.
you got sick.
That
Yeah.
was wild. Um I'm sure I was dealing with a curse as well at the time. Um and yeah, some serious changes that were happening on a whole nother level for me. I know I'm in a process of great big shift for sure. And yeah, in that time it definitely felt like
Hmm.
when years ago when I had that like death and rebirth, I want to call it, when we went and had our trip and everything, and we talked about that, and I felt like my soul left and came
Right.
back, and it was just this whole thing. And this time, it didn't feel like on the soul level like that. It felt more on like the structural side of me. Like I
Hmm.
felt like the structures of my physical being were going through like I don't even know what. So, yeah, very interesting. So
Yeah. Yeah,
but
for
yeah, I was
sure.
just and then busy and planning and just kind of tying up the end of the year. And oh
Yeah.
my gosh, it just I feel like it just whizzed by. So and then here we
Yeah,
are.
definitely did.
Yeah, yeah. And then
Yeah,
Shelly got something new.
I did. Actually, I got a couple things new.
She did.
I did. Yeah. I was so excited because I treated myself. I've been wanting to have these for a long, long time,
Yeah.
but I was like, I don't care. I'm doing it. I'm buying them. And
Done.
I bought myself some singing bowls. I'm so excited about them.
Mhm.
And I also treated one more thing.
Yeah.
And a lot of you might not know what it is. And it's the coolest sound I've ever heard. It's actually a crystal triangle. And I just finally got it. So I'm like so
That's awesome.
excited. Yeah,
Aw.
I'm very excited to use them in the near future. So
Mhm.
yeah, I've been practicing and yeah,
Yeah.
it's been fun. I've been
And you got some new
prepping.
forks.
I did. I got new
Yeah.
forks for my sound healing,
Yeah, that's
which
right.
um I will be, well, I love using them.
Of course.
But I will say though, the ones that I got, they're
Mhm.
powerful. Like they've
Mm.
been making people, well,
I experienced this.
yeah. I've had a few clients, depending on where they're at in their journey,
Mhm.
right?
Can't
A
say it
couple
was
of
completely pleasant, but definitely worth it.
Yeah. I do warn people,
That's
like
good.
this
That's good.
can
Big disclaimer.
that,
You should.
this can happen.
Yeah.
It just depends on your frequency in your body. And so when
Mhm.
we're tuning things, or I'm helping doing what I need to do to your body, it
Yeah.
can bring up things, or it can actually, especially the one set that I have, it does help with the DNA. So when it
Yeah.
does something like that, it can change the frequency in your DNA, and it can cause you to be sick. So
Mhm.
just saying that
This happened to me. This is
Sorry.
why I am coming out of something now again. So we did healing just before I left to come back home. I went out there for my birthday to spend a couple
Yeah.
days with Shelly and Dwayne, and
Mhm.
so we did healing on the last day before I came home. And
Yeah.
yep, that was it. I was done. And I
Yeah,
don't
I
even
don't
want to
mean to
say
laugh, but
all
it's
of the
just like,
symptoms that I went through because I don't want to scare anybody.
no, and
But
that's just it. Yeah. I don't want to scare anybody either, but like
yeah,
and lots of, there's other people that don't go through that, and they experience other things, and
totally.
good,
I think
like
it's just where you're
it's
at and
just
what you
where you're
need.
at. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So
I'm
super
excited.
exciting.
Yeah, I'm excited about all that, and I'm excited that I plan on doing a lot of things with them. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I'm excited. Yeah.
Yeah, we're really excited.
Mhm.
And Shelly and I will have a new modality that we'll be adding into our
Yes,
practice coming up
yes,
in the
yes,
next
that's
couple
right.
months.
Yes.
We're both doing it. And
Yeah.
again, we're not going to quite share yet, but
No. Yeah.
you will all know. And so we're really excited about that as well. So
I
lots of good
am.
stuff to come.
Yeah, I'm
so
super
excited.
excited to do this with
Yeah.
you. I am. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be so much fun.
Yeah. Me too.
Yeah. Yeah, there's going to be we hope, I'm going to say this like, our intention is to keep going with this
Yeah.
Empath Sisters podcast as much as we can. We do
Absolutely.
have a bunch lined up. We have a guest coming soon.
Yeah. Some teaching, some sharing.
Yeah.
All kinds of good stuff.
And in between, there's going to be other stuff, personal
Yeah.
things. I'm going on a trip.
Yeah.
I'm getting surgery done. I'm
Yeah.
going through all the things. So
Mhm.
yeah, there's going to be a lot of things happening. So yeah.
Yeah. Lots of things happening. And maybe a move. Maybe not.
Not yet.
That's good. Take a break.
Yeah,
Shelly did a
probably.
lot of moving last year.
I did a lot of moving, yes, but there probably will be one more move, and
Yeah.
we'll see. Yeah.
Yeah,
We'll see how that goes. But
I just have to put it out there for her because
yeah,
I've already been dreaming about it, thinking about it. I've seen it. And so I'm
yeah.
just like, it's gotta happen.
Oh,
So
I
anyway,
know. Yeah, I know. And I've done the same thing. Like I know
yeah,
I've had it in my awareness even last year.
yeah,
And so I know it's going to happen. I just haven't had to be honest, the time or mind
Mhm.
space, to even do that yet. And I hope to do that when I come back.
Yeah. Good
Well,
stuff.
maybe even after surgery, but we'll see.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
When the time is right, the things
That's
will
right. Yeah.
fall into place. So
So
that's
anything else you want to share? Anything new that you're maybe?
all. Some things shifting at work.
Mhm.
But yeah, that'll all come.
Nice.
Everyone, I'm sure, will know that. So yeah, some changes there. New things coming in.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just on a roller coaster. I'm just kind of
Yeah.
like riding the ride and going, yep, I'll take that. Yeah, okay, we're doing that. And I can't wait for that down there.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I feel I'm at.
Yeah. I hear you. Yeah. So, all right. Well, I guess that's sort of what we're gonna just
we want to catch you all up.
Yes.
The rest is all to come.
Yes. So thank you so much, really, honestly, for, being patient. for really, supporting us. I know we say this every time, and we still say it. We really, truly, truly appreciate all of you listeners, all of our clients, guests, everything. We truly, truly, truly appreciate it, like from the bottom of our hearts. And we love it.
Appreciate that you reached out and we're sad.
I know. I was going to mention something. One thing before we say goodbye.
Yeah.
I really want to say this. Sometimes I actually forget that we do a podcast.
It doesn't surprise me about you.
I know. And I want to say that when I have someone that brings it up, I go, oh yeah, that's right. And I do. And because sometimes I don't remember what we talk about, or I've had a client say, oh yeah, I heard that on your podcast. And I go, oh, right. Okay. Well, I don't remember what I said, but okay. But I want to say is that, thank you, honestly, because we really were doing this for fun, and we still do it for fun. Yeah. And we really, really, really do appreciate it. And we just want to continue and keep going.
We will.
Yeah. So thank you. And yeah, I agree with Bev. Thank you so much for reaching out to us and finding out if we broke up or anything like that.
I know, I feel like we're like a band. Oh my gosh. So cute. I love it.
I know.
So much. So thank you for thinking about us and loving our podcast. We love what we do too. So and we appreciate you all, and we look forward to sharing more.
Yes. So thank you so much for tuning into the Empath Sisters. We are sending you with love, light, and gratitude wherever this may find you. And we'll talk soon.
Yeah. Take care, everybody.
Bye, everybody.